In this video, I'm going to have a look at using multiple lists. So we'll have a look at the multiple lists and we'll have a look at how we can apply our standard algorithms to them. Okay, so with different lists, with multiple lists, sometimes the lists are related to each other. So these two lists are related to each other. They're related to each other in that for position 0 here, for name list, we've got Mina. And then for position 0 here in mark list, we have got an associated mark. So position 0 holds the information for Mina and it holds a value of 62. On position 1, we have got Joe. And on position 1 on mark list, we have got a value as well. So on position 1 holds the information for this student, so that would be Joe with a mark of 71. And it's the same for all of the items on the list. What we're actually doing is we are just storing information in the same location on the list, and we have this information related to each other. So the name list and the mark list are related. So we can use that to our advantage when we're actually playing with lists. So I'm going to use a max example using the two lists. So in this example, I've just started the program the same way. So it's just name and date, and then I've got marks, so a whole series of marks, and then names, a whole series of names. Okay, so these are related to each other. So mark 0 would be related to names 0. Mark 1 would be related to names 1, and so on for the list. To calculate the max, all we really need is we need the max from marks. So we'll look at how we go about doing that. So we've got max equals marks 0. So we're taking the first value and we're making it the maximum. And remember, you have to cast it because in a list, everything is stored as the string. So we're casting it. And just like the max algorithm said, we then go for x in range position 1 to the length of marks. We say if int marks position 1, so that would be 762. So if 762 is greater than max, our current max is 200. So it is. So the new max would be equal to 762. And we're also storing pos. Now pos is the position of this current value. We don't know at this point what on this list will be the highest. So on the off chance it happens to be this one, we're just storing its current position. And the reason we do that is so that we can use the current position to pull out the correct name for that person on the list. Because these two are associated, if it was the case that entry number 1 was the highest on the list and we had stored 1 inside pos, what we can do is we can use pos to actually write out the correct name. So this is why we're storing that particular position. So then we come down to the next value, which is 987. So if 987 is greater than 762, it is. So we have got max equals 987. 987 is at position 2, so pos becomes 2. And then we go round for the rest of the for loop and we bring down 467. If 467 is greater than 987, it's not. So we move to the next one, and that's 523. If 523 is greater than 987, it's not. So we move to our last one, 808. If 808 is greater than 987, it's not. So our value here for max and for pause are the same. Max now is 987, and we've said that that's located at position 2. So we can print out, outside the for loop here on line 22, we can print out the maximum value is max, which we've figured out from, and then because these two lists are related, I can just have names pause, and pause is 2, so it will go up and it'll count 0, 1, 2, and in this case it says the maximum value is 987 from Huddah. Now you can see that that's correct because we've got 0, 1, 2, 987, 0, 1, 2, Huddah. So we have got our maximum value and we have got it from a linked list. So we'll look at another example. This time I'm going to do wage calculations using two list values. So our calculations here, we've got hours in a list, we have got rate in a list, and we have got names in a list. Now, position 0 is for Mina, so she has a rate of 20 and hours of 20 as well. Position 1 is for Joe, so Joe would have a rate of 22 and hours of 7. Position 2 is Huddah, a rate of 20 and hours of 29, and we go all the way along. Okay, so they're all related to each other, and because of that we can actually use it to do a calculation and to put out the correct information that we've got. So we've got our for loop. So for X in range, going from position 0 to length of names, so we're saying the wage is equal to rate X, so that's rate position 0, which is 20, times hours position 0, which is 20. 20 times 20 is 400. And then we're saying print names X, so that's position 0. So it'll say Mina wage is £, 400. And then it will come back up, increment X by 1, moves on to the next thing. So then we're on position 1. So our wage is equal to the rate X, so the rate position 1, which is 22, times hours X, so it's hours position 1, which is 7. 22 times 7 is 154. So we print out names position 1, so that's Joe, has wage is £, 154. And then it comes back up and it moves on to the next value. So the next value would be position 2, and we're saying the wage is equal to rate position 2, so that's 0, 1, 2, that's 20, times hours position 2, so that's 0, 1, 2, so 20 times 29, that's 580. And then we're printing out names X position 2, so that would be Huddah. So Huddah's wage is £, 580, and it would just keep going round and round and round in the same way, getting the information from each of the different elements in the list. But remember, all of these three are linked together, and that position 0 holds the rate and the hours for the name in position 0, position 1 the rate and the hours for the name in position 1, and all the way up to 5. So position 5, Nazir, we have got the rate for Nazir is 21 and hours is 38. So they're all linked, and we can use them to do calculations and manipulate the data that's there. Okay, I'm going to do another one. We've got this time shipping costs using two lists. Okay, so this time we have got location. We've got location and we've got Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Dundee, Skye. And then we've got delivery. So for Glasgow, delivery is 0. For Edinburgh, it's £2.99. Aberdeen is £9.99. Dundee is £4.99. And Skye is £19.99. And what we've got is we have got two functions here. So the first function would be get cost, and we have got a global variable called cost. We're saying cost equals float input, please enter the cost of your item. And then we have got choice equals do you require shipping, yes or no. If the choice dot lower, so we're forcing the choice to be lowercase. If it's Y, we jump to get shipping. Else, we print out delivery not chosen, pay on collection, and we've got cost. So we'll jump to get shipping. So get shipping, we've got a global variable called send, and we have got print, we only post to the locations below, and then we're printing out locations, so we're printing out Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, Dundee, Skye, and then we've got input, enter a location from the list above, and we're storing that inside send. Okay, and then we're just jumping to calc bill. So we'll move on, we'll look at calc bill. So calc bill, we have got send and we have got cost. So what we're doing here is we're setting pause equal to -1. What we do is we set that to -1 just to see whether or not we don't find the location that the person has entered. So they might enter a completely different item on the list. And to get around that, what we do is we set pause to -1 and we check to see whether or not the actual item has been found. If it's still -1 at the end, it means that the item has not been found and we cancel the sale. So we'll have a look at that. So for exit and range, length of location, and this we've got if send.lower, so lower is the function that takes whatever the person has entered, takes the variable data and puts it all in lowercase. So we start off at position 0. So if whatever the person's entered at position 0, if it matches Glasgow, then we print out delivery costs are delivery X, so that would be the delivery for Glasgow, which is 0. And then we also print out the total due, and we're rounding up the cost and delivery added together, and we're printing out to the screen. And then we come down to this next. It goes round and round and round the for loop, going through each of the different locations there. In this case, it's Glasgow that was entered, but if they entered Edinburgh, then we would do the same thing, Aberdeen, Dundee or Skye. If it doesn't match any of them, then pause doesn't change its value. So at the moment we have got pause equal to X. So initially it'd be equal to 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. So that's the maximum values that pause can have. If it doesn't change, if it remains as -1, so after we come out our for loop, if pause remains at -1, it means the location has not been found. And we just print out the delivery is unavailable, sale cancelled. And our main section of code here is get cost. Try these exercises and ask me in class if there's anything you're unsure of, or if you want me to go over anything again, and then also try the exercises on Canvas.